Hey everyone, and welcome to a special episode of the Heal Cycle podcast. Today we're diving into World Health Day 2025's themes, healthy beginnings and hopeful futures. And what better way to talk about hope and health than through the lens of women's mental health? And we have a very special guest with us today, Dr. Aninda Sidhana, who is a renowned mental health expert, educator, and advocate. She is dedicated to advancing women's mental health, promoting mental wellness, and raising awareness about mental health. Passionate about empowering women through education, healthcare, and inclusivity, with a special focus on promoting sexual wellness. She is committed to Sustainable Development Goal, convener of IAPP Psychosexual Medicine Committee, advisory board member of Finding Order in Disorder, and advisory board member of Search Ends Inclusion Building DEI courses. Dr. Ananda, we're so happy to have you with us.
Thanks a lot, Ananya. I'm really grateful to have connected with you, and I think we both have a same goal: women empowerment and taking charge of the women mental health, and basically giving them the charge to reclaim their own mental health, reclaim their own life, and reclaim the narrative of their health. So I just want to add one thing in the introduction. Recently, I got a assistant general secretary society. So, so my aim is now to promote more about the mental health awareness, and as I am passionate to create it about women mental health, LGBT advocacy. So I'm very happy to have connected with you, who is actually doing a lot of work in this area through the app, and you have launched the app also. So it is very useful. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So we know that from menstrual cycles to life transitions, from emotional intelligence, resilience, and daily habits, today's episode is about giving women the tools, knowledge, and support to take charge of their mental well being. And just to get us started, I want to ask you, what does healthy beginnings and hopeful futures, which is the theme of this World Health Day, like what does that mean to you? And what does it mean for women's mental health today?
Yeah. So for the as World Health Day, the theme is healthy beginnings and hopeful future. World Health Organization is focusing it on maternal child health and the basically the nutrition during pregnancy and the vaccinations and all. But I see it through a different perspective, through a lens of mental health, which is more important as compared to the physical health. I believe that mental health is not a luxury; is a necessity these days. So
Mhm.
first, healthy beginnings. It starts with the beginning, like during since the childhood only. I say, not even if not childhood, but at least adolescence. We should start educating girls about the menstruation and what all life changes are going to come in their life. Because girls have to go through, they have the menstrual cycles, the mood swings which come with the menstrual cycles, which is like up and down. Also don't know. As I always say, as a it is very difficult to decide whether I am a hormonally sad, situationally sad, or seasonally sad. So it is very difficult to decide. So that is why it's like healthy beginnings. If we start teaching girls about the menstruation, comprehensive sex education to children, so that will be the beginning to see the United Nations developmental goals, which we are having envisioned to believe have a gender equality that 25 by 2030, and it is integrated along with all the goals. It cannot be alone. So the STEM, the
Mm,
and the digital health, digital technology, which you are bringing, that all is integrated and is to develop that. So this is the healthy and the hopeful future I see is like the gender equality, I believe, instead of
mm,
equality. Because equality it cannot be as biologically women and men are different. There are
yes.
giving roles which women can do and cannot do that better, and we cannot leave our elderlies for the institutional care. So that
Mm,
we cannot fight like man is better or a woman is better. And as a woman has to navigate through all the life roles. Despite being the CEO of the company, she has to take care of the house. And
mm,
all through all the hormonal cycles, not even only the menstruation, which brings lot of mood swings. Along with that, the change of the place, leaving the job, going to the another house, leaving the family. That also has mood issues. And then the another thing, the challenge comes at the workplace. Women
Mm,
are like, if you are going to go with the proposal of building a project and a man goes for building the same app, they ask you if you are going, you will be able to do that. They will doubt your ability. Definitely. Everyone does that, but in the end, maybe you become better. They, because women are more organized as compared, because when they have a goal in the day, but still they
mm,
are judged through the lens of the society. So gender equity is like giving equal responsibilities, equal opportunities, but still having a feeling that we are biologically different and we should share the burden. Like if men are financially literate and taking the charge, then women should be, the caregiving role cannot be left out. So that feminism definition is not about fighting, it's about gender equity. And as a woman, one has to definitely a workplace, at workplace she has to go through the changes. Then the major changes, the pregnancy, the pregnancy, that is the like a career break which comes in life, that does not
mm,
come in man's life. And then sometimes the ambitious women, they also go to the depression because their career has taken a break. It is
right.
not, it's not only for the 9 months of pregnancy, but the child care, child rearing, at least for 3 to 4 years, one has to be there. And
Mm,
it comes with the hormonal changes also. So it's definitely women have to love themselves, empower themselves, and take charge of their own mental health. So, and postpartum depression is also there. They all are common phenomena. So companies should think about it and like be compassionate and empathetic for that.
absolutely. And I love that you covered the whole spectrum of issues that women go through, because that was like our my next question was going to be about this. Like when we talk about mental health, obviously both men and women face challenges, and as you pointed out, we're talking about gender equity. So even if we can't be equal in all ways, we should have our unique differences and biology taken into account and build equitable processes and systems around that. So, like, how is women's mental health like different or from men's, or like why do we need to talk about it even more?
Yeah, first of all, women's mental health is different than men's because the hormones are there.
Hmm.
Progesterone, they all change your serotonin and everything. And some have relaxing effect, some give you mood swings, irritability. So that is one major thing which is difference between a man and a woman. And another thing, the thyroid problems are more common in women, which they go through. Thyroid issues, you definitely, whenever you get a test for thyroid, a male will not have that much hypothyroidism. And hypothyroidism is definitely known to cause depression, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, irritability, lethargy, and then it comes with the weight issues, which leads to the body positivity issues and low self-esteem. So that is why women's mental health, I believe, is more important to talk about. Not more important, but to make them more aware, because women are always like the caregiver and always thinking about the others in the family. Like when a even during the lockdown, you must have seen that a housemaids were not there, and that there was women are also working, they were all working from home, but still no maid, no help, they had to take care of it. So it was like, I even wrote an article about decoding impact of lockdown on the women mental health, because it was work from home, but they didn't have, rather they got burdened with double work because all the maids went only. So, and it is in our ingrained attitude. It's not like we are forced to do that, but ingrained we have. Like if we have a child, we cannot leave the child. Even about the parents, about the in-laws, we think about that. It is our inherent nature because it's our Indian culture, which our family system and our parents have given us. So that is there about the mental health. Then another thing, it takes a long time for a woman to reach uh, for the treatment, to talk about her problems, because at times what happens, if a woman says कि मेरा सिर दर्द हो रहा है या पेट दर्द है, तो कई बार क्या बोलते हैं, क्या है ये, ज्यादा काम हो गया या नाटक कर रही है या झगड़ा हो गया होगा, सास ने कुछ कह दिया इसलिए इरिटेबिलिटी है ना. So they are thought to be attention seeking, but it's not that. It's like their depression mostly comes in the form of somatic symptoms, which are neglected and told like attention seeking, which should not be done. That's why I want to create more awareness about it. That it's not that they are not being burdened. They are burden and they always keep everyone else first. And I always say you have to, and you cannot pour from the empty cup. So you have to definitely take care of your own self first, then only you will be able to take care of your family, take charge of the company and all.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I've heard this saying that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I think we all need to remember that. But especially women, as you said, being the primary caregivers, both because of some part of it is inherent biology and nature, some part of it is also learned from the examples we see in our own with our own parents and families, how usually the mother is the one who is doing the most work. So we kind of repeat those same patterns and dynamics, right? When we get older and start our own families. And I think this point that you mentioned about somatic symptoms is very important. And could you explain for people who might not know what the word somatic means, what that
Somatic,
would mean? Yeah.
definitely a man cannot know like how much pain, कितना दर्द होता है पीरियड्स के टाइम पे या डिलीवरी
Huh.
के टाइम कितना दर्द एक्चुअली में होता है. इट इज
Hmm.
टोल्ड कि 206 bones are fractured, that much pain a woman has.
Oh, wow.
मतलब द फर्स्ट टाइम जब मैंने नॉर्मल डिलीवरी देखी थी, आई डिसाइडेड आई विल नेवर गो फॉर दिस. मतलब it's so painful for a woman. And that is like, and after that when you have a child, आपको बच्चे के बाद ध्यान रखना है, but the energy which has been drained and जो hormonal changes हैं वो nobody thinks of that. And when you complain कि मेरा सिर दर्द है या थकान हो रही है कि मुझे वीकनेस फील हो रही है, तो वो ये माना जाता है कि मे बी ये काम से आंख चुरा रही है या सास से झगड़ा हो गया आज इसलिए ऐसा कर रही है. बट ऐसा नहीं होता. इट्स एक्चुअली कि जब पीरियड्स आने वाले होते हैं वो नाटक नहीं कर रहे होते, वो अटेंशन नहीं सीख कर रही गर्लफ्रेंड आपकी, वो उस टाइम पे सच में चिड़चिड़ी हो चुकी है क्योंकि हार्मोन्स ऊपर नीचे हो रहे हैं. सो वो आपको समझना पड़ता है. और इसलिए इन द मैरिज आई से लाइक आई बिलीव लाइक दिस द मूड ट्रैकर एंड द हील साइकिल ऐप जो आपने लॉन्च किए, it is not only the game changer for the women mental health, but I believe it will help in the marital relationships also. Because I have seen women when they have premenstrual depression, not depression, it's dysphoria. The moment periods आने वाले हैं उससे 2-3 दिन पहले नॉर्मल नेचर भी नहीं होगा ना अगर लड़की का टू डिमांड कि ये नहीं किया मेरे लिए, ये नहीं किया, मुझे गिफ्ट नहीं दिया. दैट इज लाइक at that point of time she starts seeing the negative. और वो थोड़ा सा कंप्लेन करती है बट हस्बैंड इज नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. ही हैज टू बी कंपैशनेट. सो इट्स लाइक इफ यू कीप अ ट्रैक एंड यू टेल कि भाई ये 3 दिन मुझे मत छेड़ना, तो marital relation will be much better. So I believe it will help in that also, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and that part is like really hard to communicate, right? Because the opposite gender is not having, like, they're not having that same experience. So, how do you communicate to your partner? And I think women also struggle to explain their symptoms to their doctors sometimes. Like, this is something I was doing a college workshop for Heal Cycle, and this was a question that we got, like, how do we prepare to talk to our gynecologist or explain these symptoms, because even then they've had some negative experiences where maybe they were told like it could have been endometriosis, but maybe it was dismissed as just painful
Yes.
cramps or periods. So yeah, like do you have any like thoughts on that, as like you're not a
Uh,
gynecologist but from like a psychiatric perspective
So,
maybe?
like, I'm not a gynecologist, but I have done a psychosexual medicine fellowship. So, it's like definitely the premenstrual dysphoric disorder, the menstrual problems, other than that, postpartum depression, they all are real. And actually, even psychiatrists, as a psychiatrist, like maybe when I had not done the fellowship, I was also not that sensitive to ask about the sexual history, about the history of कि मूड कैसा है पीरियड्स के टाइम पे. बट अब
Hmm.
पेशेंट आती है फिजिकल कंप्लेन्स या एंजाइटी और हस्बैंड बोलता है ये तो हमेशा ऐसा करती है, तो मैं सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन आई आस्क कि कभी ऐसा होता है कि जब पीरियड आने वाले होते हैं तब तुम्हारे घर में ज्यादा झगड़े हो जाते हैं. So that is like one has to be sensitive to ask that history. And about the libido also is affected a lot by the menstrual cycle. Men want it, and woman if she is going through her menstrual cycle or not menstrual cycle, but at least Even postpartum period or the premenstrual, the libido is affected by the hormones. So that should not create problems. So I think even men should be educated about this menstrual cycle के बारे में कि भाई ऐसा real, it is real that things happen with the woman. She is not, it is there is, it is not right to label them, and women are being labeled everywhere. That labeling is bad. कि ऐसा हो, sometimes it happens like even I have heard myself कि तुम्हारा तो यही नाटक है हर बार पीएमएस से. So but they don't understand, है ना. So वो नाटक नहीं है, वो एक्चुअली में आई एम फीलिंग नेगेटिव, आई एम फीलिंग डिप्रेस्ड, बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि यू आर नॉट गेटिंग पीरियड्स, आई एम गेटिंग इट, यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. So I feel psycho education should be done for males also. Then the society can change.
Absolutely. And I also read this one sentence, which is really like it strikes you because no one talks about it this way. But if I'm correct, then men have a 24-hour cycle and women have a 28 to 35-day cycle with so many hormonal fluctuations. And like men don't have estrogen, progesterone, and their levels increasing and falling. So it's not really the same. So both men and women should understand what is happening with our bodies.
Yes, definitely. And even during sexual activity also, women also
Yes.
understand that it is normal for a man to disconnect
Hmm.
immediately after having sex. Many women complain कि after sex, it's like act is completed and he goes away. But that is the hormonal thing there. It's the
Hmm.
hormonal response that once the sex is done, they need the space and they cannot be aroused again. So it is a normal response. For that, the couples should not fight and women should understand that. They complain like foreplay is there, everything is there, but after play is not there. But
Hmm.
that's the response. If he does that, that will be like as women are told to fake orgasm, it will be like he's also faking it. So that is a natural thing. And men and women are built differently biologically. Aggression is because of testosterone. So it's hormonal changes are playing role in everyday life and the mental
Right.
health.
Yeah. But how do you think like because we even the normal chapter that used to be there in our eighth grade biology or so on, in many schools in India, even that is skipped. Or the teacher would be like, you just study this part on your own. So how do you think this can change when we come to the theme of like healthier futures? How can sex education or menstrual health education, like how can this change in our country? And how, like, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, so I, despite being from the doctor family and educating from a BSF school, which was the best school here in Karnataka, I was not aware of menstrual cycle much. I had,
Hmm.
and the first time I had my cycles, I went to my father instead of mother because I go to my father for everything. And I went,
Hmm.
"Papa, ऐसा हो गया." So it was like, and it was very embarrassing because he was sitting with his friend. So
Hmm.
this education is very important, which should be conducted in the schools. The comprehensive sex education, safe touch and bad touch. Now, anyways, government is bringing up the initiatives. So it should be done in the school. But ऐसा भी नहीं है कि it should be start very early age.
Huh.
Because like I was reading a book, Who is Raising Our Children, जिसमें they have compared it with the Agasura tale. Like, so they believe like the social learning education, STEM education, if we start from a very early stage, that is like we are bringing up sex talk to the child.
Hmm.
Age should also be relevant कि ऐसा भी नहीं है कि आप 4 साल के बच्चे से बात करो या 5 साल के. It should
Hmm.
be age relevant and also tailor made with the culture and the society. You cannot
Absolutely.
then talk about sex being normal like suddenly. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But good touch and bad touch, I think at least that can start from
That
even a younger age. Yeah.
yes, nursery, but the definitely menstrual education is very important. Nowadays they are taught, but at my time, I don't think we were taught about it. And because even having biology, it was like the chapters were skipped, as you said. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like with the Heal Cycle app, one of the components, as we discussed earlier, is that we help with the cycle and mood tracking. So do you think, do you see women doing this, like tracking, or why do you think that is important?
That is very important. I usually do that, like without the app also. And actually, I use the app to track my cycles. But
Hmm.
along with, I used to write like mood because uh, PMS, everybody have, most of the girls have that. And the thing is, even I mothers don't understand, even our mothers.
Hmm.
They- हमें तो कभी ऐसा नहीं होता था, तुम्हारी एज में ही पता नहीं पीएमएस आ गया है. So I
Hmm.
have a lot. Every time most of the mothers say we had periods, we were working normally. पता नहीं आजकल के बच्चों में PMS है, ये ज्यादा ही बात कर रहे हैं. But
Hmm.
that tracking is important. Also taking track of your periods. You take charge of your own health. At that time, you can improve your nutrition, improve your hydration, exercising. It's not like you can't exercise during periods, but the
Yes.
change in the exercise routine. Like if abdominal exercises cannot be done, but at least breathing exercises are more important at that time for relaxation.
Hmm.
And also mood tracking, definitely I to link it with the relationship also, because
Hmm.
one spouse's mood is bad, then definitely it affects the whole family. So mood tracking a girl should do, and the period routine. I have seen many educated women also, they don't remember the date of their, which is like wrong.
Hmm.
So that is important. That definitely this app is going to help in that someone follows it. And also read about, I saw it like it has community support. So when community support is there, I always say when women support each other, incredible things happen. So it is like
Absolutely.
a space you have created for women to talk about. If women cannot talk about it to the persons or the family members, even friends, she can talk about it there. Even
As you said, like with each cycle phase, even though you should like be prioritizing movement throughout the month, there might be certain kinds of workouts that are better to do in the follicular phase where you are more energetic and active, and then lighter workouts during
yes,
the period and when you're like when your moods are lower and maybe you can't push yourself as hard. Even athletes face this actually. Like I've talked to some elite female athletes, and even at that level they need to optimize their training also in
yes.
line with their cycle. Yeah.
Definitely. Because the actually the pain, some women have a lot of bleeding.
Hmm.
So like there, it's not comfortable to go to the workplace also. And
Yeah.
an excuse to skip the work. That companies should understand, and for that only I'm building the DEI courses, and to even we are planning to conduct the gender harmony and workshops and to make the places more equal for everybody.
Hmm.
And even I believe men should also get the paternal leave. It's not their duty. It's they should also enjoy the not the duty. At least they should also enjoy the period of the being a father.
Hmm.
So also deserve the paternal leave. So it is for everyone.
Absolutely. Um, so let's talk a little bit about not just mental health, but mental wellness. So even if there is no specific condition or disorder, I think we should take a look and be more aware about how to be resilient in the face of like stress and so on. So what will you say is like whenever we face any setbacks or for women who are facing mental health issues, what does resilience look like or how can they build that muscle?
So I think women are anyways much more resilient,
Yeah.
and the resilience comes with experience. Like in my case, I have faced a lot, and it has all come with the. It's like the life should go with. As I told you earlier, also I am a very chaotic person, and we planned it also within 15 minutes. Or like I am like that. So life keeps on throwing curveballs at you. You should be ready to face any challenge and rise above it. And
Mm,
that is when you can accept yourself, love yourself, keep on nurturing yourself. The networking, the support, the strength female friendships have is
mm.
unmatched.
Yeah.
Because never talk about their emotions with the friends. वो ये बात कर लेंगे, चलो आज ये दारू पीते हैं, ये करते हैं. ये मेरी लाइफ में क्या प्रॉब्लम चल रही है, चाहे बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम से जा रही हूँ. बट
Hmm.
फीमेल मिलती है, वो स्टार्ट ही घर के कलेश से करती है, कैसे for that.
Um,
Journaling is one thing which helps a lot. Actually, you can write down your emotions, and it actually helps because even if like sometimes what happens, there are few thoughts which keep on stuck in your mind when you are struggling in life, and at
hmm,
times you can identify your own negative patterns also, maybe where I am at fault, and improve that.
hmm,
By talking, it cannot be, you cannot talk about your own faults, but when you write it down, the situation becomes clear and problem solving happens. So journaling is cathartic, it's problem solving, and it's identifying your repetitive negative on which you can improve and resilience can build. And resilience is come is inbuilt in women basically.
yeah. This is true that it is inbuilt in women, and we can all see that so many examples around us. And I completely agree with the journaling aspect, which is why like we also made it a point to include that feature on Heal Cycle also. So you can like journal and note down anything that is happening and identify those trends over time. So your own negative thought patterns or things that you might not realize are there but happening subconsciously. Yeah. You mentioned workplaces before. You also are working on DEI courses for different workplaces. So, how do you think workplaces and systems can support women better?
First and foremost thing, the gender, the pay, which is different. And the my favorite actor Shah Rukh Khan, he always say, he has always been well spoken about that female lead also should be paid equally, and he also says like even in the biggest Bollywood industry, females are paid less as compared to
Hmm.
him, and even many other Bollywood stars also speak about it. So if it's happening in Bollywood, definitely it's happening everywhere in the corporate sector also. And yesterday also I was listening to one podcast. It was like every time a woman asks for a raise, it's judged first of all. And women is also judged for her character, for her dressing, before you go and present the appraisal for any
Hmm.
project. And if you she will be able to do. And the bias which is like the most common bias you must have heard दिल्ली में या कहीं पे भी कि ये लड़की गाड़ी चला रही थी इसलिए ऐसा हो तो
Hmm.
ये the bias is like girl cannot do, it's not like that. So workplaces, it's important to take the HR, train the HR professionals, the people who are CEOs and all for the workplaces, train them that the which implicit bias they have against the
Hmm.
women, the gender bias, which is like actually that is also inherent in our society.
Yeah.
Very few countries are that sensitive. I even like while reading the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals, it was like Iceland is one country which is about to reach that, and UAE is one country which has women empowerment, but other countries are still lacking that. So corporate sector definitely can improve it by making the leaders women leaders because they think while promoting a woman, will she be able to give the time or she will
Hmm.
take for child care? So it should not be like that. That implicit bias should be removed and they should be trained. So that is why we think the workshops are necessary.
Yeah.
And the
And
rooms, the sanitary napkins, and the rooms for the child care, breastfeeding, they all should be available at all corporate places, everywhere.
hmm. Definitely. And there is also new research which shows that the gender pay gap is often the motherhood gap, which we discussed earlier,
Yes.
because women tend to fall off or like take a break because of the maternity leave. And like it doesn't just end in that period, right? It's also the entire like childcare journey. And there is this inbuilt expectation also that the home and family will be the priority. So the career should be secondary. So I think we still have this, like especially when we say pay gap, a big part of it is the motherhood penalty for women.
So it should be like, first of all, definitely maternity leave should be paid.
Hmm.
Every it should be whether government, whether private sector. It should be paid and it should be women should not be judged that she will not be able to do that. After the work is done, you can compare whether she did it good or not. And also as a woman also one should think like today what is my priority. If I have
Hmm.
a to submit a proposal or submit something big, or something big to do for my company, I can take a break from a childcare. I can ask my husband. He can do that, or else parents can do that. A woman, like the myth of a superwoman, that should be removed from the mind of a woman. That I am a superwoman, I can do it all. So that is like your also biases there, our own biases.
Yeah.
It should be like integrated. It cannot be like family is important or work is important. It is the integrated thing. The days comes when your child is sick, that day you definitely have to neglect your work. So that time company should understand. And when you have a big project coming up, I always say the gender equity or gender mutuality is celebrating each other's win, encouraging each other, having trust and empathy and compassion. So
Mm.
for that, I will give you the example of movie. I was very sorry for the Bollywood bringing everywhere.
No, absolutely. It's more relatable for people. Yeah.
Because I believe like it's very relatable. Like the Key and Calm movie you must have seen. It was like Arjun Kapoor and Kareena Kapoor.
Acha,
He
हाँ.
redefining gender roles. I will share the blog also. I have written. So initially, Arjun Kapoor was like, I want to be homemaker, and I'm very happy in that. And you do the CEO work. They were fine, but the moment Kareena Kapoor started getting more recognition,
Hmm.
that parent very subtle way they have shown that male ego got hurt. तो वो मेल ईगो हर्ट नहीं होनी चाहिए. इट शुड बी लाइक कि अगर भाई यू आर गेटिंग promoted, I am celebrating. I have seen many wives keeping the parties for the celebration, but if
Hmm.
your wife is getting promoted, you should also celebrate, and workplaces should also celebrate equally. So that is like he was definitely redefining the gender roles, but in the end, definitely the fragile ego came up because of
Yeah.
the stereotypes and the invisible power dynamics which plays in our marriages. And
Hmm. Yeah, that is so true. And I think even society or the man's friends or like the rest of the society starts saying things like that, right? कि बीवी कमा रही है या वो ज़्यादा अच्छा कर रही है.
uh, that should not be there. So that is why I believe education should be for both the things. Both,
Hmm.
like even if you, I believe like you go to take workshop in the schools or anywhere, this menstrual education about the cycle, because you are anyways not only about menstruation, full
Hmm.
women health. It should be even males of the companies should be involved.
Yes.
Only things can change if they understand it.
Hmm.
Only women talking about I am suffering or I am being important, it will not work, it will not change. The work environment can change only if men also come. So I
Yes.
like definitely next whenever you take workshops, it should be for both the genders.
Yeah. Yes, we are. We try to keep them as gender inclusive as possible. Like both men and women should be involved and listen. Um, and to shift gears a little bit, I also wanted to touch on one more thing, which is given that the theme is also on hopeful futures. So we have talked a lot about the current situation, women's mental health, the issues and problems that exist. But when we're thinking about the future, what changes we can bring, right? So another topic that I want to cover in this regard is positive psychology or hopeful thinking for the future. So how is that different from, I guess, a lot of uh, like mental health discourse is often around like disorders and diseases, right? But positive psychology is a different way of thinking about it.
Yes. So first of all, uh, normality is a myth because being normal is like nobody is normal or nobody is perfect or
Hmm.
everyone is normal, and we cannot label everybody to have depression. Mood changes with time, with season, with the situation. So everybody cannot be labeled to have a mental illness. And the
Yeah.
psychology and mental wellness should be more promoted because, uh, as we say, like if we talk about negative things, negative happens. So we should not reinforce that anxiety, depression. Instead of that, we should reinforce the idea mental wellness, journaling, gratitude, self care, self love. That's the positive psychology and the
Hmm.
emotional connection, which is the most important thing, which should be taught from childhood.
Right.
Like it is a branch of psychology, but very few people talk about it, which I should that should be the agenda of our mental health 2025. It should
Okay.
be the framework of self-care, positive psychology, and resilience. And
Hmm.
also bringing in all together the childhood experiences, navigating life,
Hmm.
navigating through all the stages, which men and women both go through. It's not like only women are going. Man is also shouldered with the responsibilities, and even if he gets married, he is also shocked like I'm sharing the Almira, I'm sharing the room with someone. So that is like navigating the life changes. So that should be the theme, how it should be done positively. So if you
Right.
talk positive things, so it will reinforce people, and it will
Yeah.
not stigma will decrease.
Hmm.
And you are bringing the apps in which community support is being there, mood tracking, so it will raise awareness definitely.
Thank you so much for that. And I think another topic, like, is emotional intelligence also part of positive psychology?
Yes, emotional intelligence, or it is more important than the intelligence. Uh, Yeah, even if your IQ, how much IQ you have, but if you don't have the emotional intelligence, you can't be like your character is not defined
Hmm.
the IQ. The
Right.
character is defined by how you regulate your emotions, how you treat people who are around you, who are below you. And emotional regulation is like identifying your own emotions and then managing it. If you can identify the triggering
Hmm.
factors, and in that way, the app is there, which is like mood tracker. There you can write
Yes.
the triggering factor. Like if you
Hmm.
write like 25th, I'm going to get periods. So from 22nd, maybe I get irritable. You have it in
Hmm.
advance, so you can be more like aware of your conscience, or you can become self-aware and regulate your own emotions with that if you become aware of
Absolutely.
it, tracking it. And also you can also do the things like breathing exercises, journaling more that time, or what you love, going on a coffee date, just solo coffee date, book lover, whatever you like, and
Mhm.
self at that time should be increased. So that will, it is like emotional regulation is very important. That is the most important skill to
Yes.
get through the life changes, because one goes through the challenges and everyone is going through a battle which no one talks about. And
Hmm.
so be kind, and your emotional intelligence can only make you kind and everyone else around.
I think, yeah, that is so true. Like, EQ, or emotional quotient, and
Yeah.
intelligence matters even more than IQ, because that's how people remember you, how you treat them. More than even what you say, they will remember how you make them feel. And as you said, with the Heal Cycle app also, that is why, like, the mood tracking part and understanding that better, regulating that better, is such an important part of what we have built. So I hope more women try it out and find it useful.
Yeah,
And I
that,
think, as we near the end of the conversation, I'd love to hear from you any, like, takeaways, or, like, if people have heard all of this, what are some small but meaningful steps that they can start taking from today to, practice positive psychology, take care of their mental wellness, and just, build that sense of what we talked about, resilience in the face of, like, any challenges that they're facing.
first of all, as we talked about, first we talked about the hormonal changes and all. That is like the body positivity, body acceptance. Females should be
Hmm.
taught that. Many females are being bullied in the schools for being fat. So that body acceptance, love your own body. Self love is important. And the most important thing, nurturing your and networking. Keep your network strong,
Hmm.
because the social support is one thing which can actually take you to heights,
Hmm.
to have right people. And I recently wrote a blog also, like every slap can turn into a clap. So for in my case, I have done that, every slap turning into a clap. So it is like you can rebuild and recreate your life from anywhere, but
Hmm.
with support of your family, friends, and the colleagues who are positive. And always stay away from the negative talk and negative self-talk also, not only the negative people. And embrace the gloriousness as you are, and as, whatever you are, embrace yourself, but improve, keep learning, keep improving. And
Hmm.
for cycle app, I just want to give one hot take. Yeah, so in the Queen movie, have you seen?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the Queen movie, Kangana Ranaut was actually like heartbroken. She went out on honeymoon, and then it was about her to reclaim her own life. So Heal Cycle app is like that. When you are heartbroken and having the mood symptoms, this is the app which is come as a tool for you to become the queen of your life. You can reclaim your life by tracking your mood, by tracking your periods, because that is very important. Even in getting pregnant, you have to track that. It's like
Hmm.
if you are going through IVF cycle, that is the important part. So tracking that, so and you can reclaim and rewrite your own life with this app. That is a hot take, and that example I found the best for your app.
Thank you so much. That was so wonderful. And I think, I hope all of the people who will listen to this will also take something or the other away, take just one piece of learning or advice and try to implement that. So, and keep in mind that our mental health and wellness matters, not just on World Health Day, not just on any one specific day, but every single day. So, small daily acts of care that we can take for ourselves make all the difference. And on this World Health Day, let's commit to our healthy beginnings and keep choosing hopeful futures. Thank you so much, Dr. Ananda, for being here with us today.
Thank you. And in the last, I would like to say for everybody, it's like my favorite author, Elizabeth Gilbert. She writes, "My actual job is managing my mental health." But for me, I say my actual job is managing my mental health and your mental health.
Yes,
And I'm really thankful and I feel honored and grateful to have connected with you. Thank you.
same here. Thank you so much.